Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Abyss. Today we're diving into a controversial topic, the signs that MAGA meets all the checklist items of a cult-worshipping Trump. Now, before you unleash a torrent of angry comments, let me be clear, I'm not here to tell you what to think. You're all perfectly capable of forming your own opinions, even if those opinions are objectively wrong. But what I want to do is look at some of the hallmarks of cult behavior and see if maybe, just maybe, they bear a striking resemblance to the MAGA movement. Think of it like that time you accidentally joined a pyramid scheme because you thought you were just supporting a friend's essential oil business. It's uncomfortable, it's awkward, but ultimately it's important to acknowledge. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey into the heart of MAGA country. And look, I know some of you are already typing in all caps about how this is liberal bias, but frankly I don't have the time or the crayons to explain this to you. Let's begin. Chapter 1, Absolute Power, Absolutely No Responsibility. First up, let's talk about authoritarianism. Now, I'm not saying that Trump ran his administration like a dictator who may or may not keep a list of his enemies, but okay, that's exactly what I'm saying. From demanding absolute loyalty from his staff to firing anyone who dared to question his often nonsensical pronouncements, Trump's leadership style was about as subtle as a sledgehammer to a plate glass ceiling. Remember when he told the Georgia Secretary of State to just find him enough votes to overturn the election? Yeah, that wasn't exactly a shining example of democratic values. And let's not forget about his constant attacks on the media, labeling any news he didn't like as fake news. It's almost like he missed the memo that a free press is kind of important in a democracy. Shocking, I know. Chapter 2. Don't you dare criticize the dear leader. Speaking of criticism, one thing that cults and MAGA have in common is their absolute intolerance for it. Heaven forbid you point out any flaws in the dear leader's logic, policies, or, his complete disregard for the truth. Do that and you're immediately branded a rhino, a cuck-servative, or my personal favorite, a deep state operative. It's like they took the concept of constructive criticism, ran it through a wood chipper, and then set the remains on fire. Remember when Trump told his followers to knock the crap out of protesters at his rallies? Yeah, that's not exactly a ringing endorsement for freedom of speech. Chapter 3. Follow the money or don't, because it's all very shady. Now let's talk about money, because as we all know, it's the root of all evil, especially in politics. One of the hallmarks of a cult is a lack of financial transparency, and let's just say that MAGA doesn't exactly have a sterling track record in this department. From Trump's refusal to release his tax returns to the numerous financial scandals that have plagued his administration, it's clear that transparency isn't exactly high on their list of priorities. And then there's the whole issue of campaign finance violations, shady business dealings, and the fact that Trump's hotels became a hotbed for lobbyists and foreign dignitaries looking to curry favor with the administration. It's enough to make your head spin, but hey, at least they're creating jobs for lawyers. Chapter 4, they're out to get us, but mostly just them. Another thing that cults and MAGA have in common is their penchant for paranoia and conspiracy theories. Whether it's QAnon, Pizzagate, or the belief that the election was stolen, MAGA has a knack for latching onto the most outlandish and easily debunked theories. It's like they live in a parallel universe where facts are optional and critical thinking is a sign of weakness. And let's not forget about the whole deep state conspiracy, which is basically just a fancy way of saying anyone who disagrees with us is part of a secret cabal trying to destroy America. It's enough to make you want to invest in a tinfoil hat, but then again, they'd probably just accuse you of being part of the conspiracy too. Chapter 5. Once you go MAGA, you can never go back. Now, let's talk about what happens when you try to leave the MAGA fold. Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. In the eyes of MAGA, there's no such thing as a legitimate reason to leave. You're either with them or you're against them. Leave the movement and you're immediately branded a traitor, a rhino, or worse. Just ask the countless Republicans who dared to criticize Trump and were met with death threats, harassment campaigns, and even calls for their expulsion from the party. It's enough to make you want to fake your own death and move to a remote island with no internet access. Chapter 6. Abuse. What abuse? We're just patriots. One of the most disturbing parallels between cults and MAGA is the potential for abuse. Now, I'm not saying that all MAGA supporters are abusive, but the movement has certainly created an environment where abuse can thrive. From the online harassment campaigns to the threats of violence against political opponents, it's clear that some MAGA followers have taken their devotion to Trump to a dangerous level. And let's not forget about the January 6th insurrection, which saw a mob of Trump supporters storm the Capitol in an attempt to overturn the election results. That wasn't just a protest, it was an act of political violence fueled by the lies and conspiracy theories spread by Trump and his allies. Chapter 7. One of the things that cults excel at is controlling the flow of information. They want to make sure that their members are only exposed to information that reinforces their beliefs, and they'll go to great lengths to discredit any information that challenges their worldview. Sound familiar? From Trump's constant attacks on the media to the proliferation of right-wing propaganda outlets like Fox News and OAN, MAGA has created an echo chamber where its followers are bombarded with misinformation and conspiracy theories. It's no wonder that so many of them have become detached from reality. Chapter 8. The never-ending quest for Trump's approval. One of the hallmarks of a cult is the pressure on members to constantly prove their loyalty. And let's just say that MAGA takes this to a whole new level. From attending rallies to donating to Trump's legal fund, MAGA followers are constantly being asked to show their devotion to the dear leader. And it's never enough. There's always another rally to attend, another conspiracy theory to believe, another donation to make. It's an exhausting and ultimately futile cycle that leaves followers feeling drained and unfulfilled. Chapter 9. Trump, infallible, omnipotent, and always right, or so he says. Another dangerous aspect of cults is the tendency to deify the leader. And in the world of MAGA, Trump isn't just a politician, he's a savior, a messiah, a golden calf to be worshipped. His followers hang on his every word, excuse his every transgression, and view him as the only one who can save America from the evils of, well, everything. It's a level of devotion that borders on the religious, and it's incredibly dangerous. When you start believing that one person has all the answers, you stop thinking critically and become susceptible to manipulation. Chapter 10. The gospel, according to Trump. And finally, we come to the most dangerous aspect of MAGA, the belief that Trump is the sole source of truth. In the MAGA universe, there is no objective reality, only Trump's version of events. Facts don't matter, evidence is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is what Trump says. This blind faith in one man has led to the erosion of trust in institutions, the spread of misinformation, and the polarization of American society. It's a dangerous game that we're playing, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Outro, wake up and smell the Kool-Aid. So there you have it. 10 signs that MAGA meets the criteria for a cult. Whether you agree or disagree, it's important to recognize these signs and understand the dynamics at play. Stay informed and always question the information you receive, even if it comes from sources you trust. Don't fall for the cult of personality, the allure of simple answers to complex problems, or the seductive lie that one man can save us all. Because the truth is, we can only save ourselves, and the first step is recognizing the problem for what it is. And on that cheerful note, I'm going to go pour myself a stiff drink. Until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant, and for the love of all that is holy, stay critical.